Okay, there are signs of cracks in conservative prairie bedrock. Let's find out if it's a quake shaken or just a rogue rumble on the political landscape. Jonathan Denis is a former Solicitor General of Alberta. He joins us from Calgary, and from Regina, we're joined by Professor Tom McIntosh. He's head of political studies at the University of Regina. All right, I want to go to you first, Jonathan. As you know only too well, there was a big orange tsunami that came through Alberta in the spring, swept away the dynasty, including your candidacy. Are you seeing any of that mood for change on the federal scene so far?
Well, Don, you're quite correct. Traditionally, people have characterized Alberta politics as being boring, as being static, wide margins, and just one Conservative party to the next. And I do think that the May 5th election has opened up some ridings here. There are a couple of ridings in Calgary, and I'd say about 4 or 5 in Edmonton that I think are up for grabs. At the same time, I do see the rural areas and the donut around Calgary and Edmonton as being largely staying Conservative.
Is there a Notley effect going on? I mean, is this people are willing to gamble with her provincially? Are they looking at Mulcair federally, or is it Liberals?
I think it's a bit of both. For example, in Calgary Centre, there's a hot race there between Joan Crockett, who is a good campaign manager, but at the same time, Kent Hare seems to have coalesced a lot of the progressive vote around him. He was a popular 2-term MLA. I also think in Calgary Skyview, again, a 2-term MLA, Darshan Kang, versus the incumbent Devinder Shorey. That is really one to watch in Calgary.
Very interesting. Okay, let's switch over to Saskatchewan. The Conservatives have a 13-1 lead there, with only Ralph Goodale's Liberal seat standing in the way of a sweep. I'm curious, Tom, a new Insightrix poll found 39% of decided voters would choose the Conservatives, 35% would choose the NDP. What's your sense? Are we starting to see maybe some orange ripples coming into Saskatchewan?
Well, I think what this is what we're looking at for the election is a reflection of the changes to our electoral boundaries in the 2 big cities, in Regina and Saskatoon. We now have in Saskatoon 3 completely urban ridings and 2 completely urban ridings in Regina, and this makes it possible probably for Mr. Goodale to hold his seat in Regina. The NDP may take one of those seats in Regina, and they're hoping to take 1 seat probably in Saskatoon. There's a 5th riding that's sort of up for grabs too, which is the far north, the Churchill riding, which has been won by very small margins. And so I think the NDP are actually putting a lot of effort into that one as well.
I'm curious, though, Tom, unlike Alberta, there's no NDP incumbent at the provincial legislature, and Brad Wall's still phenomenally popular Saskatchewan Party premier there, and he's no left-winger. What's inspiring the voters there to even take a closer look at the NDP or the Liberals?
Well, I think what this is again, it's a reflection of where the NDP still has strength in Saskatchewan is in the urban centres. And so by creating ridings that are strictly urban, it's essentially concentrating that vote. So it's not so much that there'll be a huge increase in NDP support, but it's the way the borders have been redrawn.
All right, Jonathan, I want to quickly go back to you on this one. Is there an issue that's driving some dissatisfaction? Because you used to be able to hold a federal Liberal convention in a phone booth. What's happening there to make the party's popularity expand a bit?
Well, I think it's not so much what's happening for the NDP, but there is a lot of negativity, unfortunately, around the Conservative Party these days. And a lot of that is just coming from the Nigel Wright testimony, the Mike Duffy trial. That seems to be a never-ending negative news story. What I would suggest is that around the September long weekend, that's when people are going to get together, wind down their summer, start talking amongst their families, and that's when I think people are really going to start paying attention and seeing if this is a permanent effect or if this is just a blip on the radar screen in August.
Okay, quick last word to you on this one, Tom McIntosh. Is the Duffy trial having any reverberation in Saskatchewan at all, or are they all still on vacation?
Well, there's still a lot of people still on vacation, but certainly it's a huge topic of conversation. One of our own senators, Senator Tkachuk, is in the center of some of those conversations going around with Duffy. And of course, we've had our own issues with with another one of our senators in the person of Pam Wallen as well. So yeah, that's also sort of dampened conservative enthusiasm in the province.
Okay, interesting perspective, gentlemen. Thank you both. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.